Everyone is welcome here, it's time to make new friends. Aquavide Uskava, fill your Glencairn. Share a dram with the spirit of Edmonton.
Slancha, and good evening, whiskey brothers and whiskey sisters, and welcome to episode 40 of the Canadian Whisky Journey's Whiskey Review. I'm Dolph, I'm your host tonight, and I'm joined by this fella right here, Blair Phillips. He's co-author to this book, The Definitive Guide to Canadian Distilleries. Blair, what are we continuing our Canadian Whisky Journey with tonight, sir?
We are going with Red Letter. I'm going to tricky here. I have a 2013 release, getting some weird glare off the lights ahead on top of me, but you have the most recent Distillers version. Yeah, I think it came out late last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I had this. Well, this was given to me for a tasting in June, or was it July last year? We did that, so I would have had it by then. So yeah, pretty happy to have it, loving it, and let's get into the history a little bit. Came out in the 1880s, disappeared in 1920s, and I was talking to Don today, well, texting him, and it's kind of neat because our last review was the oldest Canadian whiskey released to date, and this one is based on one of the first branded whiskeys that came out in Canada. So we're going back in the history files, and it's disappeared in 1920s, came back 2007 as a 10-year-old. Yours is a 10-year-old, but tell me about, because I think you tasted the 2007. You don't have a bottle, but you had it way back when. How did these all compare? Are they all the same? And do you think they tasted the same as it came out in 1880?
Well, I don't know about that. This whiskey was ridiculously popular back then. If you go back, you can find before all the liquor boards before all the provincial liquor boards took over in the 1920s, you used to see advertisements for places in Montreal that would ship whiskey across Canada, and Red Letter was always on that list. Ooh, and right. I saw one ad that I think the Quebec Liquor Association, or whatever it was called at the time, opened their doors on it was May 1st, 1921, I think. And there's these ads saying that you have 18 more days to have Red Letter shipped to you. It was kind of cool. So yeah, it was popular. Nice. The first edition in 2007 was to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the distillery of Wiser's in Prescott. David Doyle was the master blender, and then I believe this one in 2013 was the first whiskey that. No, it was before then, but it was the first whiskey that had Don Livermore's signature on it. Ooh, and yeah, so it's a bit of I shouldn't have opened this. It's a bit of a collector's item, but it's just a cool story because he set out to revive you have David Doyle's version in 2007, and then Dr. Don wanted to release a version of that. But also, I think he integrated a bit of his knowledge with New Oak, and he changed the recipe up. He didn't change the grain recipe, I don't think, but I think he worked with some new barrels and stuff like that, or a different ratio of barrels. And compared to this one, this is the new one that you have. This one is a lot more. It's
keep it coming.
Yeah, no, it's the 2013 version was a little bit more muted, and I find this one there's definitely a red letteriness across the board from 2007, 2013, and 2020. This one really dials up that red. I'm going to call it red letteriness because I can't think of another adjective, but it just pulls it up a bit more than the previous versions, I find, and that's going by memory as well.
Well, and that's better because when I was talking to Don, I kept calling it red leather. red leather, because I was talking into my phone instead of actually typing, right? He said, and he corrected me, it's red letter. I said, maybe it's just reading my mind and what I kind of go towards. This is the red leather. For other information, this is 15-year-old blend, double distilled corn, mixed with the single column still rye, aged in number 2, brand new white oak. So, and 97% of the grain, he said, comes from Essex, Kent, and you're telling me that that's around Windsor. So he said, I think within 100 kilometers of the distillery.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. And you've been to the distillery, and you know what? I got some pictures. Might as well throw some pictures up. So I'm going to go where it's from, and let's do that. Let's do the background. You can see it there, and then we can see where Walkerville is, and we see Detroit. But I'm going to ask you: is that Detroit across the river?
Yeah, that would be.
Okay, because I've never been down your way there, kind sir. And here's the Experience Center, which I want to go to. But tell me about the distillery, man. Did you see all this?
That shot that you showed, I think that's from the roof of where they put all their spent grains, if I'm not mistaken, the building that has all the spent grains. And you can climb up on the roof and you get that view of the distillery in Detroit set back across the river. It's pretty cool.
So many things for me to see when I finally get down to the Greater Toronto area, and then south, and then west.
It's beyond impressive, that place. It's a big spot. The distillery is massive in itself, and then when you go to Pike Creek where they age the barrels, that's just it just blows you away. Like, it's just like, I always describe it as when Rares of the Lost Ark, when they put the Ark and they hide it and there's all those crates and stuff. It's like that, but with barrels. Just like, it's amazing.
What will you throw up in the air to have it kind of find the one barrel you want? We can come up with that. This won some awards. 3? Is it 3 Canadian Whisky Awards?
I think it won 3 Canadian Whisky Awards this year. It won a gold medal. One of the main 2 main categories, I believe.
Yeah. Let's go. Award of Excellence, Line Extension, and the Connoisseur Whiskey of the Year Domestic.
Yeah.
So on top of the gold. So it did really well. So, and you know what? This did really well because we had our tasting. The Alberta Scotch Society had tasting. Don hosted us. And it was fantastic. And this did very, very well. So we were kind of split between this and what was it? It was one of the dark oaks. It was kind of an experimental Dead Sea cask, black cask strength, dark oak. It was really good. So the peat and dark oak and this were kind of the 2 divergent ones. So this has a very different palate. It's light and it's a sipper, and just the sweetness kind of brings me in. What do you get on the nose? 45%.
Well, I find Red Letter has a very distinct profile to it. If this committed a crime, it would get caught because everyone would know that. Like, it just has that classic. There's a classicness to it. But I just love the way that there's like this sort of like there's those maple sugar notes. There's a bit of like cedar mixed with the oak. You have your rye spices, some rye bread, oak toffee, all that kind of stuff. Like, everything is it's all like really, really densely packed together, I find.
I'm going to agree with that, but I'm going to add something effervescent, like maybe a mint on the nose at the tip or something. Just something that kind of picks it up lively.
Possibly, yeah.
Yep, I like that. But this went over very well. And this goes down. I found it goes down too quickly. I think I want a cask strength to slow me down. And there's people that get mad at me for saying that.
Yes. It does go down very easy, but there's a lot going on to enjoy, so take your time with it.
There you go.
And the telltale corn flavor that always comes out that I get them. And beautiful mouthfeel, and that's the corn as well. No mention of non-chill filtering or coloring. And that's a neat story because I might be having a tasting with Don in September when he comes to the Banff Whiskey Experience, if they do. It's still in the works. And if any Alberta Scotch Society people are here, they'll hear about this. And the tasting, we're trying to get the idea of having a chill filtered compared to a non-chill filtered side-by-side blind to see if we can pick it out, because I'm a little bit arrogant and I keep telling him I can pick it out, and he keeps telling me there's no way I can pick it out. So that's something I would love to do. So,
yeah.
I would love it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think let's go more on the palate. So I was getting kind of a brown sugar on the nose, and I think it's more caramelly on the palate, or butterscotchy, I think. But it was.
I definitely agree with the caramel.
Okay.
It's like, so it's just this it's just this one unified thing. It's just a mix and mash of, like, I find there's a lot of vanilla, caramel, got a bit of that bready wryness to it. The texture is phenomenal, which
I've learned over the years is one of the main things that catches my attention when I'm drinking a whiskey is the mouthfeel. It is the texture, and it's the legs too, and I like seeing it. But
yeah, it's, I also like how late palate the rye spices really start to flare up, but it doesn't get into that burning sensation. It's more of a controlled heat.
Nothing back there. And I didn't ask Don the percentage of rye compared to corn. I should have, but I feel like I'm pressing too much a little bit with I don't think it
doesn't really. I don't think it really matters. It's all blended to flavors, so getting into percentages, it's not. It's more of a. I think of it more as an American thing than a Canadian thing.
It might be.
Yeah, because it's all. But yeah, because his team can blend it. They're blending it to flavor, so depending on, it doesn't really matter what the percentage is.
Yeah,
it's all based.
And he has stated online that he can blend 100% corn and make it taste like rye. He's said that online a couple times. So
yeah, no, definitely.
All right. How about a finish? Let's go with the finish. It's kind of a medium finish for me, and it's not changing a lot. But
no,
tell me what you're getting.
To me, after you get that burst of rye spices, and it just starts to just smoothen out, not smoothen out, but it's got a nice draw to it. Kind of dries off a little bit.
Yes,
and
it's the drying feeling.
Yeah, some of those new oak tannins start coming through, but they're very, very delicate. Like, they don't punch you in the mouth or anything like that.
Well, it's a number 2 char, and it's really light as well. And I might have guessed a number 1 after 15 years, because that's a long time to have new oak, right?
I think it was finished in new oak, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's my thing. Okay, because that took me by surprise a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because the original red letter, I'm pretty sure, it would have been the same thing. It would have been a lot of new oak, and I think that was the point of this whiskey, is to introduce that later on in the stages, so you start to get some of those nuances without going full blown, oak tree on you. No,
and I like the oak. I like heavy oak. I like light oak. I like just being able to discern, try to figure out the level. But let's just say good job, Dr. Don and team. They did a great job on this. If you want to buy it, it's $100. So you have to go to the distillery, or you have to order it online, but you have to be in Ontario to get it. I tried to order it and have it shipped to my brother and sister-in-law in Ottawa, but I can't even do that. So their system is very, you need to change your IP address somehow, and maybe have an international one so it doesn't affect Canada. I don't know, but I have to figure out another way to get this too.
Or as soon as you started saying that, it started to break up a little bit as you were talking through that. I think your internet provider is going to censor you.
Oh, is that? Okay, that's it. Maybe. It's good. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. And that's it. Final thoughts, Blair?
Find a way to get it. That's all I got to say. Call up that family in Ottawa and tell them to order it
themselves. I have to do that. And it's a hefty bottle too. It's a fantastic.
It's great.
I do like that. And Dave's got a comment there too, and he got his from a friend in Ontario. Thanks. And Schmutz probably did the same too, and Stephen on the side. Thank you very much, viewers, and we will see you all next week. Something like that. Next Tuesday, I'm hoping. Thanks, Blair. Have a fantastic evening. And thank you to all our present and future tasters and viewers. Ciao, everybody.